My name is Megan, and this is Everything Lit. Today, I am going to be talking about the 2022 releases that I really wanted to read, and we're going to see if I actually got to them. So each year, I make a list of, in my sparkly notebook, I make a list of backlist books that I want to read, and spoiler alert, I'm going to have a video about those. Then I make a list of priority 2022 releases. This is not just like books I'm excited for. These are the books that I'm going to go to the store on the Tuesday they release and buy that book, or I already have it pre-ordered. I made this list in December of 21, about books that I was excited about, and this list contains a mix of new release hardcovers, new release softcovers, and books that were released in softcover in the year 2022 but actually came out in 2021. So it's really just books that I planned to buy and wanted to read right away. First, in January, I wanted to read Amari and the Night Brothers, and this did come out in hardcover in 21, but I was waiting for the softcover. I did read Amari. It was fantastic. This is a middle grade by B.B. Alston. It is about Amari, whose older brother goes missing, and she thinks that not enough is being done to find him, so she's going to try to do it. And what she finds is that he worked for a supernatural investigations corporation, government entity. I don't really remember what they were, but she then gets drafted to train to join this supernatural investigations thing. It's very cute, very magical, very interesting. A lot of cool and interesting things about not only like being a young Black girl, but like not fitting in and the assumptions people have about young Black girls, young Black people. So I really enjoyed it. I'm excited. The second one comes out in softcover soon, so I'll have to put that on my list for 2023. Next on the list, in February, Delilah Green Doesn't Care came out. This is by Ashley Herring Blake. It came out, get it? Because it's gay. This is a romance between Delilah Green and Claire, I don't remember her last name, Sutherland. Delilah is going back to her hometown for her stepsister's wedding. She's going to be the photographer. And then shenanigans ensue as Claire and the stepsister's other friends are trying to break up the wedding because they don't think this man is right for her. And Delilah and Claire fall in love. It's very hard-hitting, actually. It's very emotional, and a lot of the story, while they do fall in love, and that is very prevalent, very present, it is also a story just about Delilah coming to terms with her childhood and her stepsister, and I don't want to say fixing those relationships, but finding the way that those relationships can be as adults. I really enjoyed it. One of my top romances of the year, maybe one of my top books of the year. I just love Ashley Herring Blake's writing. In March, Kiss and Tell by Adib Khorram came out. I was so highly anticipating this book. So I'm writing a book about a boy band, and I've been writing it for like 3 years. Don't worry about it. It's got time travel, so it's difficult, okay? We're struggling. I'm on draft number 3 in the year 2023. We're gonna go out on query though. That's one of my goals. Anyway, sidetracked. I was so excited for this because I like reading a lot of books about the topic that I'm writing about. So that's why the time travel vlog is going to be a thing. And any book about a boy band, I have been like salivating for. And especially one by such a well-known author. This is definitely going to be in my comps for that query letter. Getting off into writerland, let's talk about Kiss and Tell. This is a book about a boy band, and one member of the boy band is Kiss and Tell, and Hunter is the gay one. And it is about navigating his sexuality while having all of these outside influences trying to tell him what kind of gay he is. So there's a section, or there's a scene where he's on some Good Morning show and they like do brunch together because obviously the gays love brunch. Like, yeah, a lot of them do, but that doesn't mean that he should be, they put him in like floral clothes and that may not be his style. So it's very interesting to see like how his sexuality is being sold to the public while he's also trying to like navigate it himself, because he's only, 17, 18 and trying to figure himself out while all of this pressure is there. It was very good, very interesting. I loved this setup. So each chapter is a different tour date, and I think that's really a brilliant way to structure this. I really like this. I did read it. Fantastic. So I was doing really good in the beginning half of the year. I was like, oh, that book came out, buying it, reading it. And that continues with The Dragon's Bride, and I will put that on the screen somewhere. The Dragon's Bride is by Katie Robert, and this is the first in her Monster Lovers series. It is about a woman who makes a deal with a demon to be part of this auction, and the person who bids on her is a dragon. He has two I was gonna say members, but I don't know if that's a better word than just peens. Come on. So this is an erotic romance. It is what it says on the tin. She gets with a dragon. It was good. I enjoyed it. That's all I'm gonna say. March was like a fantastic month. It was my birthday. 3 of these books came out in March. So the next one is So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens. This is YA, and this is sort of a what happens after you defeat the bad guy in a Chosen One story. So the Chosen One and his band of misfits that he created, that story has been told a million times. So this starts with their band succeeding and killing the bad guy and Eric becoming king, and how he navigates being so young, becoming king, having his life completely thrown off track and like told what to do up until this point. Like he had a mission, he achieved it. Now what does he do? So he and his mage, Matt, have some chemistry. It's his best friend. That's who he like started this journey with. There is sort of a magical like marriage curse that happens when Eric becomes king, and he has to find someone to marry in the next however long or he'll die. It's very dramatic, but like earnedly. It's dramatic, but it's supposed to be, and it works for the story and for the characters and what they've been through. It was really great. I am going to read everything F.T. Lukens comes out with from this point on because fantastic. Might visit their backlist, unclear. Another book I really, really wanted to read, and I did, was Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. Station 11 is my favorite book of all time. I've read one other of Emily St. John Mandel's books. It was her first release. Didn't care for that one as much. I want to read everything that she has written so far. Haven't gotten to it yet. But this one, Sea of Tranquility, is... Oh, I read The Glass Hotel too. Get it together, self. So the Sea of Tranquility is told in several different timelines. So we have a story in the 1800s. We have a story in the 2000s, we have a story in the 3000s, and then we have a story that takes place on the moon in the future. So it has sci-fi elements, but it is such a human story, and all stories are human stories. What am I saying? It has sci-fi elements, but it's very literary. If we were going to put it in a genre, I don't know that I would recommend this to like hardcore sci-fi people. I loved it. I loved this almost as much as Station 11. I will say this has some crossover appeal because I think there are some characters from Station 11 mentioned and some characters from The Glass Hotel mentioned. So this really feels like it's not a sequel, but it does feel like a culmination of her other books. I don't really know how to talk about the plot without spoiling anything, but those several different timelines kind of interact in a way. And I'll say there's rumors throughout each timeline of a glitch in the Matrix or a glitch in the world in this specific spot. And some of the characters go try to explore that. I loved it so much. Next on the list, like 2 of my favorite authors came out with new books this year, and I was in heaven. So I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. I did read this. It was fantastic. I have heard some smatterings of it's not that good, but I loved it so much. I think Casey McQuiston's writing is so understanding and so emotional and so, I don't want to say deep, but her characters are so complex and fleshed out, and their storylines are always, to me at least, so satisfying. This is about Shara Wheeler, kind of. It's really about Chloe, because on prom night, Shara kisses Chloe. They are academic rivals. And then Shara disappears. She hecks off. No one can find her. And then Chloe finds out that Shara actually kissed 2 other people that night. And so the 3 of them sort of band together to try and figure out why Shara kissed them, what she wants, because she leaves behind these pink notes and is leading them on like a scavenger hunt to try and find her. It's very fun. It's very cute. This is YA. It is Casey McQuiston's like YA debut. Her other 2 books were adult. What can I say about this book? I loved the plot. I loved the characters. I have it in the hardcover. What is this? The Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I really love the green cover though, so I'm kind of waiting for the paperback to come out and then I'll buy it in paperback as well. That's how much I love this. All right, and then I'm going to skip ahead to September to the other book that I actually did read. I was spoiled this year because Sarah Addison Allen is one of my favorite, if not my favorite author. And she came out with her first new book in like 8 years. And that was Other Birds. This is a adult, some might call it like women's fiction story. This is about Zoe and the people who live at the Delawisp, which is this condominium on an island in, I think it's in South Carolina. Let me double check. Yeah. This island in South Carolina, this condominium, and the characters and people who live there. So Zoe is moving in to this condo because she's turned 18, she's going to school in South Carolina, and her mother left this condo to her when she passed. And she died a while ago, but obviously Zoe couldn't move out until she was of age. And now she is trying to reconnect with her mother and her mother's past, learn more about her. As she does that, she makes friends with the other residents of the Delawisp. There's a man who cooks amazing meals. There's a young lady who does henna and who's running from her past. And they're all at the beginning like very lonely people, and this is really a book about lonely people finding their people and finding their family. And I thought it was so lovely and sweet, and it made me cry. Absolutely fantastic. Now to the books that I didn't quite get to in 2022. Hopefully I will get to them in 2023, but all bets are off at this point. Fire by TJ Klune. This is the sequel to The Extraordinaries. This is YA. I haven't read The Extraordinaries yet. I bought it in softcover. I waited for this to come out in softcover. Have not read them. And then the 3rd book is already out, but it comes out in softcover next year. Maybe once I have the 3rd, I'll just binge the whole trilogy. The 1st book, The Extraordinaries, is about a world where superheroes exist. And I think it is a male-male romance. Next, a book that I didn't get to but sorely wanted to is A Little Bit Country by Brian D. Kennedy. This is about a country music star, or at least someone who's trying to be big in country music and navigating his sexuality as he falls in love with another man. It is YA. Oh my gosh, look at the back. Look at the little pictures on the back. That's so cute. I very much want to read this, maybe next summer, because it seems like a very summery book, you know? Next on the list, I'm actually kind of hoping to squeeze this in end of December, but I doubt I will. That is Hazel Bly and the Deep Blue Sea by Ashley Herring Blake. This came out in paperback this year. It was already out in hardcover. This is a middle grade about Hazel Bly, and her mother recently passed away, and sort of her dealing with grief. I think there's a bit of a magical element dealing with mermaids. I will read anything by Ashley Herring Blake. That's just facts. And finally, The last book on my list that I did not get to is Just Another Love Song by Kerry Winfrey. This is a second chance romance. It's about a man who made it big, and now he's coming back to his hometown, his high school sweetheart, and he originally planned to make it big together, but something happened and he left and she stayed. Now that he's coming back, I think they're going to reconnect, and it sounds really sweet. I love Kerry Winfrey's writing. Just didn't have time, man. Just didn't have time. In the end, I made a list of 12 books. You know, ideally, I would read one each month. That didn't end up happening. I read 8 out of 12 on my list. So in 2023, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 10. I'm going to pick 10 releases that I am excited for and that I plan to read right away. And that'll split the difference because I read 8 out of 12. I think I can manage 10. And those are the 12 books that I wanted to read in 2022 and the 8 books that I did manage to read. Thanks for watching. And if you like this, you want to see what I end up reading in 2023, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, do whatever you want. I'll see you next time.